Namaskar Pguru viewers. I am Sri Kumar Kannan. I am hosting today for a change. Our guest today is Dr. Kuldip Solanki, a leading gastroenterologist from Chhattisgarh, who is also the convener of the Civil Society Chhattisgarh. Namaste, sir.
Namaskar. Thanks for inviting me, Sri. And it's always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be on Pgurus.
Thank you. Thank you. Viewers, we have to know that Dr. Kuldip Solanki is not only the convener of the civil society, but also he is a politically astute person. And my association with Dr. Solanki has takes us back to the Chhattisgarh election 2023. At that time, Dr. Kuldip Solanki was, right enough that the BJP will cross the majority mark and it will go up to 60. When Mr. JVC Sriram, he also predicted in the same line. So all three of us converged into the single point that made me close to Dr. Kuldip Solanki. And today we want to introduce you in one more thing that Dr. Kuldip Solanki was one of the very few people who predicted that in West Bengal, the BJP will cross 200 seats. He was bang on. Sir, want to ask you the question. First, to start with you as a convener of the civil society. So, what are the functions you do as a convener of the civil society in Chhattisgarh, sir? Please.
Sri, thanks for a very kind introduction. Since it was founded in 2020, Chhattisgarh Civil Society was founded with the idea that all professionals of various fields, they wanted to and they do want to contribute to the society, but there was a lack of platform in Chhattisgarh. So few of us sat together and we founded Chhattisgarh Civil Society, which is largely a group of professionals. We have around 1,800 odd professionals in our group. And our initial or the first program was Pro CA Rally. It was a mass turnout in Chhattisgarh and very, very successful. And that time, the state was run by the Congress government. So we had a lot of appreciation and support from all our friends. Subsequently, as COVID came in, we diversified into guiding the primary health centers, community health centers, and various government institutes in remote areas for the latest updates on COVID, for felicitating sick patients transferred to the capital, that's Raipur, and overseeing their treatment as a whole. In addition, we had been constantly working for last 6 years with youngsters, especially the teenagers in various government schools. And our primary focus is to decrease the screen addiction, which a lot of children are habituated to. And what we have been doing side by side is we have been increasing their knowledge about what's the right nutrition. What we found in our day-to-day practice being a gastroenterologist, people are eating higher priced food but it's not of a better quality. So we have been teaching or conveying to the youngsters that you have to increase the protein content and by simple three things like pulses, various pulses, then the peas and groundnut. We have been advocating this. Apart from this, we have been involved in various research activities, and you will be glad to know that the scientific benefits of Yagya was published by our team in 2022. We had been working on various national and state issues, including there was a crisis by Indigo when a lot of passengers are stranded. So we had taken very stern action and we had issued legal notice to Indigo and requested EMO that Indigo should be fined 9,000 crore rupees. Apart from this, there are a lot many activities, but one thing which is very, very close to our heart and the milestone or the largest achievement till date is the concept of Veer Bal Divas, which is dedicated to four Sahibjadas of Guru Gobind Singh Ji's four sons. That concept, its rationale, its concept, it's creating a platform on social media, convincing people, convincing government of India was all done by our team. And finally, in 2022, 9th of January, it was published in Gazette of India. And subsequently, we have been celebrating Veer Bal Divas in manner which has not been celebrated anywhere else. We felicitate four children up to the age of 17 years in the name of Sahibjada. Sahibjada Ajit Singh, Sahibjada Jujhar Singh, Sahibjada Fateh Singh. So they become the brand ambassadors. We did this first year was 2022 at Raj Bhavan, and subsequently we had been doing on in STM House. And it is widely being appreciated. And we have requested through our correspondence to the PMO that from now on, the Bravery Award should be named on these four Sahibjadas and should be awarded on Veer Bal Divas, that is 26th of December. For this, we were honored by at Golden Temple by the Granthis and Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee, and that was a big honor for us. Recently, we have been working on getting back our dharohar from Britain, and we had issued a legal ultimatum to King Charles. That was last month, where we have requested that Wagner, by which Shivaji Maharaj killed Ajmal Khan, his Jagdamba sword, his various oil paintings and his possessions, they are all in British Museum. They are of more value than the Kohinoor, the diamond Kohinoor. We have requested around, we have asked them that 211 artifacts that are dharohar should be returned by 15th of August 2026. Otherwise, we will be taking this to the International Court of Justice, where we may demand up to $5 trillion. So that is one. And since I am from medical fraternity, so something very close to medical research, a team is constantly working, and we are focusing on physical health and mental health. As far as physical health is concerned, we are into for treatment of diabetes and obesity, which is epidemic now. And we have sorted or pinpointed four killers in our kitchen, namely white sugar. Second is plastic bottles because it has bisphenol A, which is a hormone. Third is dishwasher. And fourth is refined oils. This should be removed from kitchen. We have been educating our people. Another thing is there is a treatment by the name of acromencia. So we have been able to culture it in Chhattisgarh, and soon it will be on mass production. Apart from this, one of our teams is working for creating guidelines for social media and OTT platforms, because a lot of mental health of current generation is being affected by the abusive language and depiction of females in bad postures. And we have been working constantly, and we'll shortly come out with recommendations for social media.
Thank you, Doctor. Actually, you have encapsulated the whole activities of your civil society. And one was the Veer Bal Divas, which was being adopted by the government of India also, which was named by Prime Minister Modi himself. I know apart from your medical knowledge, I also am aware of your political knowledge also. In this context, I wanted to know, when even the polling agencies were struggling with the West Bengal election results, particularly during the exit polls, you were the one among the very few people who predicted that the BJP could cross 200 plus seats. What made you to think so, sir?
We have been working with unconventional methods. So we were bang on for Chhattisgarh. We predicted there would be 55 seats for BJP, and the final results was 54. Of course, you have been our partners, you and JVC. So thanks for that. And as far as Bengal is concerned, we had used modalities which are not conventional, including talking to our many friends of personal connections in Bengal, especially in medical fraternity. I wish to name one of my very dear friends who had been very vocal for nationalist government for last 10 years, and he has been suffering a lot in Bengal. He is my batchmate, Dr. Mukesh Jain, and he has a local network. So he was quite instrumental in guiding us. Apart from that, we had used clinical methods of various interviews, and psychological analysis was one of the parameters. When people are quoting on camera that we are happy with TMC, but the body language is not going with what he or she is saying. So that was analyzed by our team. And apart from that, we had virtual presence in most part of the Bengal. We predicted 202 seats, and we were just there was a setback with us as far as the Lok Sabha elections were concerned. So we were not very confident. Hence, we did not publish in the mass scale. That was the one reason.
Actually, I am also aware that you told in a private conversation that the BJP will get across 200 seats. And it was very difficult for people like me to, have a confidence on that issue, particularly because the elections were conducted in that manner, and we know how the environment, the West Bengal elections are being conducted. Doctor, you were still telling about the civil society and your activities in Chhattisgarh. Do you also feel that the civil society in Bengal is active? Because we all know that Bengal is a very educated society. Particularly, they are more literates there. At the same time, they have produced a lot more intellectuals, and they are nationalists also. So, do you think that the civil society is still active in Bengal?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of issues they have been working. A lot of agencies are working. There are a lot of civil societies in Bengal, but they are primarily focusing on the rural population, the welfare of rural people, for female education and upliftment of below poverty line Adivasis. But our society is one of its kind where we take up state and national issues diversely. And we fortunately have a very intricate system of sharing responsibilities. Whosoever is expert of that particular field. For one simple example, I would like to share that on this World Environment Day, we are ready with guidelines for plants and shrubs on dividers, which has been prepared by agriculture college professors. So we will be sharing with Government of India and NHAI. So we have been doing diverse work because every individual or every team has specialities, and we have been fortunate that we are working with so many people, and so many people are contributing to our efforts.
Doctor, since you are a part of the medical fraternity, so I want to ask that, now we have a new government in West Bengal, and we also are aware of the incidents like RG car and other incidents, which is also related to the medical environment, the situation in which those things happened. Since you are a part of the medical fraternity, I wanted to ask, so what are your expectations from the West Bengal government as well as the central government? So what are your expectations on this issue?
That's a very pertinent question. I think the first and foremost expectation is medical professionals should be able to perform their duties fearlessly. Unfortunately, that was not happening in Bengal for last 10, 12 years. A lot of my colleagues who have been doing excellent work, they had either shifted out of Bengal or they had minimalized their working because of various demands for ransom and all sorts of pressure tactics by the goons of the erstwhile TMC government. And now, as things have changed, I feel the first and foremost is the professionals in both private sector and government sector should be given the confidence to work for the benefit of the patients and general population. That is point number one. Second, as we had seen in Arjikar case, our young doctors, both male and female, should have adequate safety in hospitals and elsewhere. They should not be the victim of goons and violence. That is point number two. Third is, I appreciate, and on behalf of Chhattisgarh Civil Society, we thank PM Modi ji that he has announced Ayushman Yojana for entire Bengal, and it will be in working in a short period of time. So that is going to radically change the healthcare scenario of Bengal, especially for lower middle class and poor people. And they will be having access to high level of medical facilities, even in private sector, because of Ayushman Yojana. That is a welcome step. In addition, there has been a backlog as far as research is concerned, and previously Bengal used to lead in various medical researches and various projects. Unfortunately, in last 15, 20 years, it has taken a back stage. So as and when confidence in our professionals improve, so research is going to take a new higher aspect. That is what we expect. And of course, by the contribution and help of government of India, there would be more medical colleges in proportion to the population of Bengal.
Sure. Doctor, one more question related to the same earlier question I asked. It can be asked as an ancillary question or supplementary question. So, how you were able to crack, the numbers of Bengal? What you are able to say? How the Trinamool Congress actually missed that? Actually, because they have their eyes and ears all over the state, the whole bureaucracy is with them, and the whole, the control is with them. So how they missed this particular issue when people, civil society and commoners were able to get the sense of it, that the government is actually changing.
Feeling, and they had the input there, they are losing. That's why they had gone to extreme threatening and violent behavior. That their body language and their psychoanalysis showed they are losing. So that is one of the factor. And if you see what our experts and our team felt is, it will never be a hung assembly. It would never be a close affair. It would be either way. And if everything is fair, then it is going to be victory by leaps and bounds for BJP. That was the writing on the wall. But unfortunately, because of fear factor, because of previous failures, as far as psychologists are concerned, these all were too defensive in accepting it.
Actually, I'm also one among the very few people who were struggling with the numbers, actually, because we were able to give around 150 to 160. And when we go by seat analysis, we were also struggling, considering the fact that in whether they can be able to breach in the presidency region in particular. Now, Doctor, I'm shifting you actually from.
Just, I wish to add one more point which I missed, and which is of very, very important aspect, which hardly anybody is talking about, and which brought the paradigm shift. Actually, a lot of Muslims, original Muslims from Bengal, voted for BJP. The reason being the influx of Bangladeshi and their behavior, their attitude, and their grabbing habits, grabbing of land, properties, was so terrible, and there was utter lawlessness. So the original Muslims of Bengal, they felt, unless we vote for BJP and Adhikari ji, we don't have a future. This has been missed by maximum analysts, and we could get that feel. And so you can see in constituencies with as high as 40% Muslim population, BJP had a clean sweep, because it was not a election of Hindu versus Muslim. It was original versus Bangladeshi. Original Bengal people, original Bengali, native Bengali, be it Hindu or Muslim or Christian, versus Bangladeshi or foreigners. So that is the biggest contributor to this landslide victory, which hardly anybody is talking about.
Yeah. Yes, understood. Doctor, one more question. Now, I am taking you a slight diversion from the last week political events of the West Bengal elections to the ongoing political event, which is the NEET controversy. This is not the first time. This is almost the second time where we have witnessed the NEET question paper got leaked and the government is forced to cancel the exam, and they are planning to conduct a re-exam. I hope they have scheduled it on 21st of this month, the NEET exam is concerned. So what is your opinion on this NEET controversy, Doctor?
It is very unfortunate that corruption and mishandling of such a sensitive issues, where 22 lakhs to 25 lakhs of students, the brightest brains, have been harassed for the last 5 years. And this is a total mishandling of the situation by the NTA. If you allow me for details, then paper leaks have been happening since 2021. It happened in 21. It again happened in 22. There was a larger paper leak in 24. But since the results were declared and it did not come into public domain to that extent, and young doctors represented themselves in Supreme Court, where Government of India and NTA pledged that no further leak will happen. Again, 25 similar things happened, but it was under the carpet. This time, the results were scheduled to be out by 15th of this month. And had the results been out, again the same 24 fiasco would have happened. So there are people who are in top positions in NTA who are responsible and who are actively involved in all this fraud. They are instrumental in leaking the papers. Unfortunately, this time on 1st of May, papers were available on Telegram channel. So everyone knew that paper are out on 1st of May. Despite that, they conducted the exam on 3rd. They kept quiet up to 12th, and then it was announced because it had blown out of proportion. Various inputs into the media and into the general public forced them to cancel the exam. So this is very unfortunate. I'll give you a simile that of similar level, there is an exam by IIT, JEE, mains and advanced. I never heard that papers were leaked. If NTA cannot handle this simple exam, there is data that 89 paper leaks have happened, 47 re-exams have happened during the tenure of NTA. So we from civil society, I could not mention in the initial, we have requested the PMO and Prime Minister Modi ji that NTA should be scrapped, abrogated. And there are professionals in AIMS, in PGI in Lucknow, and by rotation, they can give this responsibility one of the institutes to prepare the papers, to distribute it, and to conduct the exams. There is so much of fiasco and so much of mismanagement that NNC, which is the parent body for medical professionals, had issued a notification that on 3rd of May, Sunday, all medical students should attend classes so that they don't become Munna Bhai MBBS in NEET. But since Ghar ka Vedi Lanka died, there is a proverb. So people from inside have a habit of leaking the papers. Unfortunately, they are never punished. They have never been put on task. I think if a person cannot handle a responsibility, he is equally responsible in whole of the crime. I'm talking about the Education Minister, Dharmendra Pradhan. He has failed in his duties repeatedly, be it UGC, be it the NTSC textbook fiasco, where Supreme Court was very, very hard, or be it NTA and NEET examination on various occasions. He must be sacked by PMO. And NTA should be abrogated. All officials should be present and past, should be put to task. And we from civil society have demanded that all students who have faced terrible mental anguish, a lot of suicides have happened. Every student should be compensated monetarily by 1 lakh rupees, 2,200 crore rupees figure. Money should be recovered by confiscating the properties of various NTA officials, those conspirators who have sold papers, who have been constantly leaking the papers. Everybody who's involved in this, because this has brought bad name not only to medical professions, education department, but the whole country.
Viewers, we want to tell one more thing. When Mr. Modi formed his government, we always felt that the education ministry is one of the government's Achilles heel, because see, there is so many things which is happening, be it in finance sector, be it in infrastructure, be it in foreign affairs, defense sector. But the one sector which is continuously failing is the education sector, because we have seen a number of education ministers who came and went, but unfortunately, be it the NCERT textbook is concerned, the revision of as per the new education policy, how it should have happened, but it has not happened in the way what we all thought. That is number one. And as Dr. Kuldip mentioned, the conduct of the exam, the National Testing Agency, that is also continuously failing. We all thought that the NEET exam is a wonderful system as such, which actually becoming a centralized testing system so that it gives an opportunity to every people rather than the earlier medical exams, which were conducted by the respective state governments in their own fashion. So unfortunately, purposefully, we are having a doubt whether they are purposefully failing the system so that to get it back to its earlier form. So we as conscious civil people, we should not allow this to happen. And Dr. Kuldeep, thank you for giving your time, your thoughts. Apart from your knowledge, you have imparted some of your best suggestions and solutions. We expect that the government takes them in right spirit and come out with a solution not only for the medical fraternity but for the citizens as a whole. Thank you, Doctor. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much. Jai Johar.
Jai Johar.